The theme this month is osteoporosis prevention, and so I wanted to do a workout that you could do that would not only help build bone, but for those of you who've been diagnosed with osteopenia or osteoporosis, you will be safe doing this exercise program. So, to start with, I have several props that we can use during this workout. I'm not going to use them today, I'll show them to you. But in the future, you might want to invest in a few props so that you can add them to this workout. One thing that you might need is something to help you with balance. I have a dowel. Today, you can use a chair. So bring along a chair that you can use to hold on to while we do the balance portion of the program. So, without further ado, we're going to start in a standing position, nice and tall. And we're going to start at the feet. And what I'd like you to do is just look down at your feet and lift your toes off the floor and release. Good. Now you can be doing this on the floor or on a mat, doesn't matter. Lift and release. And you might feel that as you lift, your arches lift up a little bit too, and that's great. And release. And lift and release. Keep going. Lift those toes. Look down now. As you put them down, see if you can stretch them wide. It's a learned thing. I'm not very good at it, but give it a whirl. And try and spread those toes out. And again, lift and spread. And lift and spread them down. Good. Now, hold on to your chair or grab your dowel. You can even use a wall to hold on to if you need to in a pinch. From here, I want you to imagine, you can actually get a ball and do this, but imagine you've got a little ball between your heels. And we're going to just rise up on our toes and back down. Now, as you rise up on your toes, I want you to avoid, look at my feet, I want you to avoid doing this, letting those heels drop out. That's why we either use a ball or imagine a ball between our heels. So you rise up, putting weight on all 5 toes, and come back down. And again, rise up and down. And again, lift and lower. And lift and lower. We're going to do 2 more after this one. We're going to try and do as many repetitions as we need to fatigue the muscles. So you should be feeling this in your calves right now. And lift and lower. Good. How'd you do? Now we're going to go on to one leg. So I'm going to have you lift one foot off the floor, and you're going to put the dowel or have the chair on the other side of the one you're standing on. So from here, you're going to go up on one foot. Lift and lower. I'm going to come off my mat for this. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. And you can see for me that it's not that easy. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. 2 more. Lift, lower. 1 more. Lift and lower. Let's go to the other side. So for me that was a challenge because I don't have a lot of support here. So I might want to do it with a chair next time. On this side we're going to go up, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. 4 more. So this is my better side, and you'll find that one side's usually easier than the other. Lift. Keep breathing. 2 more. Lift. Lower. 1 more. Lift. Woo! And lower. Good. So I have to practice that. The next one we're going to do is just a balance. So back on my mat, I'm going to put my dowel back in the other hand and lift my leg up and just balance on one leg. If I can, I'm going to lift that dowel. You can take your hand off of your chair and balance. And breathe. And balance. And breathe. 1 more time. And breathe. And breathe. Good. Let's switch the dowel to the other hand. Or turn around at your chair or move your chair. And here we go. Once you get it, then balance. and breathe, and balance, and breathe. Keep going. Use your dowel if you need to. I don't want you to fall off the balance, but if you can lift it off the floor, go ahead and do so. And release. Good, nicely done. One more variation on that theme is going to be to move our heads while we balance. So come back to the first side, lift the leg. Now as you're there, look to one side and look to the other side and look to the center. Good, see if you can do it without support. Harder and center. Good. And once more, look and look. You can see me wobbling around on my mat and center. Good. Let's do the other side. And look, look, center. Now I'm going to lift and look, look, center, look, look, breathe. One more, look, center. Good. How'd you do with those balance exercises? Some of them are very challenging and you're going to have to try them several times a week before you get them down. I would advise, I'm on a squishy mat, so that makes it harder. So if you're on a carpet or a mat, it's going to be harder. If you're on a hard floor, it's going to be a little bit easier. Good. All right, I'm going to put my dowel down. And we're going to start doing a little bit of work on just pelvic alignment. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this. So standing nice and tall, I want you to bend your knees a little bit and put your hands on your pelvis, on your hips. And just rock your tailbone forward and then rock your tailbone back. So I'm tilting my pelvis and bringing my tailbone underneath me, and I'm tilting my pelvis and taking my tailbone back. And tilt, and tilt. A few more times. We're doing this mostly so that you can find a place in the middle of these two extremes that's comfortable for you. And then come back to center and find a place that's fairly comfortable for your pelvis to stay. And then stand up tall. Good. Then take your fingers right along the seam of your shirt or right directly underneath your armpits. I want you to take 3 fingers on each side and try and place them between the top of the pelvis and your rib cage. Just press right in there. Now, we'd like to see at least 2 fingers worth of space in there. Some people only have 1 finger's worth. And as we lose bone density or bone strength, sometimes we shrink a little bit. And so this distance can become shorter. So see how many fingers you can get in there in the soft spot between the ribs and the pelvic bone. Good. Now, from here, what I want you to do is just try and lift yourself up to spread that distance between the pelvis and the rib cage. Good, and then release. And see if you can lift it up. Now, as you lift up, notice that your abdominal muscles engage. And then release. So this is a great way to engage the abdominals, lift the torso without much effort. Keep breathing, and one more time, lift. Good, now keep that lift and take your hands down. Good. And feel wide across the collarbones, like your collarbones are going to opposite sides of the room. These are your collarbones right here. And they're going to opposite sides of the room. Good. And then take your neck and lift it up and back. So I'm going to do this from the side. So your neck, say it's here. You want to imagine that you're lifting your neck up and back. Good. And then release it forward and lift it up and back again. You'll find that your ears will come closer to being right over your shoulders in this position. So you don't want to jam your chin. You just want to lift that neck up and back. Good. See if you can maintain that lifted torso, that neck lifted up and back, and that pelvis in that neutral, comfortable spot. So I hope you remember in the rest of this workout, remember these concepts of lifting the pelvis, lifting the ribs off the pelvis, lengthening the throat up and back, widening the collarbones, and keeping the pelvis in a comfortable position. So now I'm going to move on to doing a little upper body work. So I'm going to step to the side and pick up a band. You can use a towel, which is actually preferable and something not stretchy. A towel wrapped around itself, or a piece of rope for this. Rope would probably be the best idea because we want something that doesn't really stretch like my stretch band does. But this is what I have, so I'm going to use it today. So we're going to start with the palms up and the hands straight out from the sides of the body. You want to imagine you have a little air under your armpits. I sometimes say imagine you have an egg under your armpits so you can't squeeze in against your body. And from here, without gripping with the thumbs, you're going to lift that torso, bring that throat up and back. And very gently, you're going to try and bring those shoulder blades together. And release. And squeeze. And release. So from the back, you're just going to see a little bit of motion in your shoulder blades. So it's not a big wild stretching out, which is why a stretch band isn't good. But it's just a little movement of the shoulder blades. And release. So we're trying to get those shoulder blades going. They're really important for stabilizing the upper body and for strengthening the upper back, which is where many osteoporotic fractures do occur. Keep going. One more. And open. Good. Now take your arms a little wider and let's do the same thing. So you squeeze, it's slightly different. You might get a little bit more range of motion with this. Squeeze, keep that torso lifted. Keep that throat up and back. And squeeze. Keep breathing. And a few more. And two more. And reach. And squeeze. And reach out and squeeze. Good. Nice. So you should feel sort of warmed up through the shoulder blade region right now. Now you're going to take your rope or your band and you're going to do it in two like this, and then bring it from one collarbone to the other collarbone. Hold on to the open side and let it drop. The place where you had it on the open side, where you grabbed it, is where you want to hold it now. So you're going to hold, usually you'll have about, depending on the length of your rope, of course, you'll have a tail on each end, and you're going to take your arms out to the side. You want your palms down for this, and you want a little air in your armpits again, a little softness, so that those elbows are facing slightly toward the inside, and your palms are facing back. You're going to, in this position, you're just going to raise your arms over, straight out in front of you. So you come from this position up to straight out in front of you. From here, stay wide through the collarbones and do the same thing you did before. You're going to squeeze those shoulder blades back and down. And again, pull. And pull. And pull. So again, you'll see those shoulder blades squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Two more. And squeeze. Release and squeeze. Good. And then release down. So we spend a lot of time on the upper back, again, because that's a place where we need to build bone strength because osteoporotic fractures do happen there. Now take your towel or your rope or your band and take it overhead. So raise it overhead, keeping lifted through the torso, keeping that throat up and back. And from here, raise your shoulders and lower them. And raise them and lower. Raise and lower. And raise and lower. Good. Keeping those shoulders down and back. Here we go. Imagine you're pulling from the outsides of your shoulder blades. Pulling out and in. And out. And in. Keep going. Pull out and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. Keep going, keep breathing. And breathe, and in. Last one, and breathe, and in. Good. Now in this position, see if you can bring your arms back a little bit farther without arching, without sticking your ribs out. Okay, so we're here. We want to take the arms back a little bit further. Good. And then release them down. Good. The last exercise we're going to do with the rope towel band is to hold on to your band, your apparatus, your piece of equipment, and put it right down across your hips. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest. Look up on a slight diagonal. So I'm in this position. From here, you're going to pulse your arms back. Pulse, like you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Pulse, 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 pulse. Try not to let those shoulder blades come up or the shoulders come up. Keep pulsing. Pulse, pulse. Keep going. And rest. Good job. I don't know about you, but my upper back feels all warm and tingly right now. All right, so we can put the band away. And I'm going to pull my mat forward a little bit, and we're going to go down to the ground. Good. All right, down we go to the ground. In this position, we're going to do a little bit of work in plank. And I know when I say plank, sometimes people go, I can't do a plank. Almost everybody can do a plank. So just follow my instructions and we'll be able to get this done. We're going to start working on our upper body in plank position. So what I'd like you to do is come onto all fours. If you have a mat, come to the front of your mat. You're going to lengthen the back of your neck. You're going to step back on one foot and step back on the other foot. Now wrap your abdominals and take a breath. Good. In this position, I want you to allow yourself to sink your shoulders, blades squeeze together, press up. Sink and press. If you're shaking, that's normal. It's good. Doesn't mean that you can't do it. Press. Again. Squeeze, press, squeeze, press. Two more. Squeeze, press. One more. Squeeze, press. Good. Come back on your knees. Stay high. Don't sit back on your heels. Stay high and reach your arms out to stretch. Take a breath. Now that exercise can also be done in a modified push-up position if need be. And that position would be similar to a plank, but you're going to have your knees on the floor, and you would sink and press. Try this with me if you want to. Sink and press, release, press up, release, press up, release, press, release, press. Two more, release, press. One more, release, and press. Good. Put your feet down. Keep your hips high and walk your arms forward for a stretch. Good. All right. The next thing we're going to do is lie on our backs. So we're getting into a little bit more vigorous exercise now, a little bit more challenging, so do what you can. And you can always work your way into it over time. Okay. So let me just move my sound thing. Stretch out nice and long. Now the sequence I'm about to do is often done on a foam roller. We'll do it off of the foam roller today, and then I will do a video later where we do all of these exercises with the appropriate props. Just take a stretch. Take your arms overhead. Let yourself stretch. Take a couple of deep breaths. And one more. Good. And bring your arms down by your side. And then Bring your feet in, bend the knees. Good. And now just tilt that pelvis a little bit low back into the mat and then arch it. A couple of times so that you can find that neutral spine. And arch. In that place where you're most comfortable. And arch and then release. Bring the legs up to tabletop position. Good. Lengthen the back of the neck. If you need to, go ahead and use a pillow under your neck, under your head to support your neck. Good. From here, you're going to imagine that you're dipping your toe into a pool of water and you're going to reach out and dip into the water and come back up. Now, you don't want to go so far that you start to arch and wobble around through the midsection. So you want to tap and up. If you can go all the way down to the floor, that's a bonus. And up. Tap and up and tap and up. Keep going. Tap and up and tap and up. Good. From here, then we're going to open one leg to the side. So you're just going to take the right leg and open it to the side and come back up. And then the left leg opens to the side and comes back up. So the idea here is just to move the leg. Don't let your torso roll to the side. Don't let the other leg move at all. And come back up and open and up. I'm going to do this way just for a minute. It's going to be a little odd, but just so you can see it. So it's opening and up and open and up. Again, open and up and open and up. Good. Back into my original position. Now we're going to do it with a leg extension. So you're going to open the leg, straighten it, bend it, and bring it back in. Open, straighten, bend, back in. Open, straighten, bend, back in. Open, straighten, bend. Now you really have to use those abdominals, don't you, in order to keep yourself from rocking around on the floor. Good. Bring your knees into your chest and just rock side to side. And put your feet back down on the floor. Let's take the arms down by our sides, and I want you to slide the arms along the floor all the way over your head. Now, if we were on the foam roller, this would be a bit more of a challenge to do. You'd feel more stretch, but we're just going to do this. You want to try and keep your fingertips on the floor. Shoulders are down and down. And again, up it comes and down it goes. Up it comes and down it goes. One more time. And up it comes and down it goes. Good. All right. Come on up to sitting. And we're going to do a little bit of work on the side plank. You can do either side. That's perfectly fine. You're going to come down onto your elbow. And I want you to imagine in this position that your elbow, your back side, and the heels are all pressing up against a wall so that they're all in a line. Good. Now, this is a challenging exercise. It can be done with the knees bent. That will make it a little bit easier. So stack up those feet and flex them. From here, using this hand, you're going to help lift yourself up and lower. Good. Now, if you can do it up and take the hand into the air and lower. And do it again. Lift just 4 times and lower. Lift and lower. One more. Lift and lower. Now, on the last one, we're going to go up, stay there, and take the arm overhead. And back and lower. Good. Let's try the other side. Again, heels, backside, and elbow up against an imaginary wall. Hand in front of you, up you come. Just try one with the hand helping you. You can do all of them that way if you want to. Otherwise, you can take the hand up in the air. 1, 2, breathe, 3, 4, good. On the next one, go up and take the arm overhead for a stretch, and back, and lower it down. Great. And come on up to sitting. Now that was a hard exercise, so don't be discouraged if it was a challenge. You can keep working on it, and eventually it will come, I promise. You can also use the modification. Sorry, I'm having mat problems. You can also use the modification with the knees bent to try that. Okay. Now, I'd like you to sit in this position with one foot in front and one in back. And if you can't sit in this position comfortably, then I'd like you to bring your feet here or here. It's up to you. But I'd like you to be able to sit in it comfortably. The other thing that you can do if you're uncomfortable here is to put something under your hip, your back hip, so that you can lean against it more comfortably. Or if you feel like you're pitching forward, put a pillow underneath all of you. Okay. So sitting in this position, arms are wide. First, I'm going to have you go toward this side and stretch. Just a stretch. We're just doing a stretch. And reach that arm up and out. We don't want to drop down. Reach up and out. So we're lengthening the side of the body. And then up and over to the other side. Again, lengthen, reach up and out. Once more to each side. Lengthen the side. And lengthen the side. Good. Let's do the other side. Switch the legs. Take a moment. Get yourself settled. From here, you're going to go toward the foot that's in back and stretch up and over. Now, you might find that you feel a lot stiffer on one side than the other, and that's pretty normal. I wish I could tell you exactly why you have one side versus the other side. No one really knows. And over. Good. And rest. Good, we're going to move on. So from here, we're going to go into what's called, let's see if I can find it on my hip parade here. We're going on to our stomachs. But before we do that, I'm going to rearrange a little bit. So come over onto your stomachs. And I'd like you to overlap your palms, just like this. And put your forehead down on your palms. Right. So because my microphone gets a little wonky when I put my head down, I may not put mine down all the way. Legs are slightly apart. From here, I'd like you to just lift your head, lift your chin, lift your chest. And lower back down. And again, lift head, chin, chest. Now don't look ahead of you. Lengthen the back of the neck and stay looking down at the mat. And again, head, chin, chest. Now while you're up there, press your hands down into the mat and bring your shoulder blades toward your feet. And lower back down. And again, press it up. And lower back down. Now, take your hands apart so that you can move each one of them separately. Put your forehead down, then you're going to lift. Now, lift the right arm, fingertips to your forehead, lift the left leg, and lower. Other side. Lift, left arm, right leg, and lower. Now lift and stay. Right arm, left leg. Stay up there, left arm, right leg. Again, right arm, left leg. Left arm, right leg. And now lower. Lift one more time and lift everything. And put them down, lower your chest. Again, lift the chest. Lift hands and arms. Lower hands and arms, lower chest. Two more. Lift your chest. Lift hands and arms. Lower hands and arms, lower the chest. Last one. Lift the chest. Lift hands and arms. Lower hands and arms and lower chest. Good. Come on back into that stretch that we did before. Hips are high, arms reach out long. Good. And come on up to kneeling. Going to face forward. From here, we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So I'd like you to take one foot out in front of you. I'll do it sideways so you can see it. One foot out in front of you here. Now, if you need to hold on to something, get that chair or get that dowel or something like that. So you're going to be in this position. You're going to lift the torso, remember those fingers and the waist, and shift your weight forward. From here, I'd like you to take the arm on the same side of the leg that's back and stretch to the side. I'll do this facing you in a minute. Stretch and breathe. So it's balance and stretching and release. And now we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to do this facing you so you can see the side bend. Oops, other leg. And from here, lift the torso, shift the weight forward. Bring that arm up, and you're going to bend sideways, up and over. Good, and shift back. From here, bring yourself up to standing. My mat keeps getting all ski jaw here. Take a big breath in. And out. And you are done. Good job. That was a bone healthy Pilates for bone health workout. I'll see you in the next workout.